Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Plot Twists and Freudian Slips podcast.
I'm Jules, a licensed therapist who spends all day analyzing people.
And I'm Mary, a diehard bookworm who loves to use books as an escape from reality.
And this is the podcast where we take fictional characters, drag them out of their fantasy worlds, and put them right here on the couch.
Because sometimes happily ever after is actually just codependency in a trench coat.
So, Mary, before we jump into the book for today, what was a book that you loved in 2025 and a book that you absolutely despised?
It's a good question. Let me look at my Goodreads. Okay, I'll start with the one I didn't like, so we end on a high note with the one I did like. Unfortunately, the one I didn't like the most was an arc I got. So I don't know if I want to say what it was called. Or anything,
probably not.
because it's not out yet. But I will say it's a romance, but it has like tennis involved. They're both like tennis players. And it's MM, so I was like, ugh,
Like the
love me.
challengers.
Right. I was like, love me a good MM romance. Unfortunately, this was a pretty big miss for me because I felt like 80% of this book, it was talking about tennis. Like,
It was just not
so many scenes of
like
him
straight up tennis.
describing his playing in a game, and I'm like,
Interesting.
show me the romance, damn it. And it was just not it. So unfortunately, that was a miss for me, but maybe it'll be a hit for someone else. Which is why I'm not
if you
gonna
love tennis.
Yeah, if you love tennis, DM me and I'll tell you what the book is. And then I think my favorite one I read this year was called Things You Save in a Fire by Catherine Center. I've never read this author before, but it like popped up under like recommendations on my Kindle, and I kind of read like the little synopsis of it, and I thought, what the heck? I'll give it a try, and I really liked it. It's about Cassie. She's a female firefighter. Something happens where she has to go to a different station, so she's basically a rookie again, and she's also a rookie with another guy.
Oh, so another romance.
Yeah, he's a little younger than her.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice.
I
That's
enjoyed that
awesome.
one, so I definitely want to read more by Catherine Center at some point.
5 out of 5?
I think I gave it 4.5.
Nice.
Like I said in one of our earlier episodes, a 5-star is like rare for me.
Right.
So 4.5 is really good. Like I would recommend that to almost anyone because it doesn't have a lot of like smutting or anything. So if it's someone who's kind of new to romance or just looking for something where it's more character based on the romance, then I think that would be good for them.
Nice. Your can is making a lot of noise.
So sorry.
I love it.
What about you? What was your favorite and least favorite book of the year?
I would say my least favorite was The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Rekulak. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's a thriller. I just found every character to be really unenjoyable. And maybe that was part of the point of the book. But I like to at least like one character. So
got it.
That was not a favorite, and I had high hopes. He has another book, I don't remember, Hidden Pictures, I think is what it's called, that I really did like. So my favorites are tied. One is the book that is called The Favorites by Lane Fargo. And that's like it's a fiction, more like contemporary. There is romance, but it's like this cutthroat ice skating situation. And it's just, it's not really a romance. It's kind of like there are romantic elements, but it's really about like the rivalry between these two ice skaters, and it's crazy. It kind of reads like Daisy Jones and the Six, kind of that kind of vibe, in my opinion. And then I also really loved The Wedding People by Alexis Montgomery. Again, don't know if I'm saying that right, but that one was a really unexpected. Yes. Unexpected tearjerker for me. I went in thinking it was more of like a contemporary romance, and it was not quite that. I mean, it kind of was, but yeah, it was very different. So my two favorite books were different kinds of fiction, which was, I like it. I like contemporary fiction. I think it's becoming a favorite of mine.
if you're new here, here's how this works. I usually will bring in a book or its characters. Usually Jules hasn't heard of the book or read it. I'm going to give her the plot, the drama, the red flags, the tea, if you will.
And then I apply actual clinical theories to explain why they are acting like a chaotic mess. We talk symptoms, diagnoses, and fictional treatment plans.
Basically, I ruin the romance with logic.
And I ruin the fantasy with science. It's a beautiful partnership.
Before we jump in, just a quick disclaimer for any content or trigger warnings. It will be listed down below in our show notes or wherever you're listening to this podcast. So if you have any certain triggers, please read those. If something is you feel will be too triggering for you, we totally understand, and we'll just see you in the next episode. Other than that, because we'll be talking about the book and the characters, we're basically talking about the whole book. So there's going to be major spoiler for the whole book. So if you haven't read it yet, you can pause this episode, go read it, and come back. Or if you don't care about spoilers, then we can just jump right in. Well, Jules, are you ready to open the file?
I am. I've got my notebook ready. Who is walking into our office today?
All right. Today, we have a character from the book, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez.
Yay! I have read this one.
Oh, you have?
I have.
Fun.
Yes, surprise.
Surprise!
It's been a little while, but
okay.
Yeah, I have read it.
Do you remember your thoughts on it, just as a reader?
Yes, I believe so. I might have to pull up my Goodreads, but I'm pretty sure I remember. Yeah.
Okay. So our female main character is Alexis Montgomery. She is 37 years old. She's an ER doctor. She lives in Minneapolis. She has a twin brother, Derek. He is a plastic surgeon. Currently, he is living in Cambodia doing like volunteer type of
Doctors Without Borders kind of thing.
Yep. She has a best friend named Bree, who is also a doctor, works at the same hospital. She works at this like renowned hospital. That her family has been a part of for like 125 years. So Montgomery has always worked at this hospital. So there's high expectations from her parents, especially her dad. She recently broke up with her boyfriend, Neil, who is 47, I believe, because he cheated on her with another doctor.
Loser.
I know. He becomes more of a loser, trust me. But yeah, so that's our main female character. She's gone through quite a lot.
Yeah.
But
so to recap, we have Alexis Montgomery, 37, ER doctor, lives in Minneapolis, twin brother who is out of the country, high expectations from parents, particularly dad. It sounds like there's this like legacy situation with the hospital. There's always been a Montgomery at the hospital. Sounds pretty like prestigious and whatnot. And she just broke up with her doctor boyfriend, Neil, who is a little bit older than her and cheated on her because he sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so at the start of the book, she is driving home from a funeral for like her great aunt or something, and she swerves her car to try and not hit her like a raccoon that runs across the road, and she ends up in a ditch in this tiny town called Waukon, Minnesota. Waukon.
Okay. Is that real?
No.
Okay.
I looked it up because I was like,
yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I live in Minnesota, so I was like,
could you not tell by her accent? I
love it. Okay. Moving on.
So it's not real, but it is in this book. Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure it's inspired by there's many small towns in Minnesota, but so she gets stuck in this ditch and she is rescued by Daniel Grant. He is 28 years old. So he is younger than she is by about 10 years.
Heyo.
He lives in this small town, Waukon, Minnesota. He kind of it's got a lot of roles. He is a volunteer firefighter. He manages a rental property, does carpentry. He's like the de facto mayor of the town, all sorts of things. He has lived in this town his whole life. He was raised by his grandparents, and actually very similar to Alexis in the kind of way of a Grant has always lived in Waukon, and a Grant has always been a mayor. So they have a lot of history in that town as well.
Nice.
But yeah, he
small town boy, city girl. It sounds like. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tell us about their meet cute.
Yeah. So like I said, she was driving home from a funeral for a great aunt, and she ends up in a ditch, and so she's waiting for a tow tow truck when he happens to drive by and tows her out, helps her out. Right. Yeah. So then she's been driving for a while, so she's hungry. She wants to go eat
Grab
somewhere.
Some food. Yeah.
But the closest thing to where she's at is like the VFW in this small town. So
yes, I remember this. Do you want to explain what a VFW is? Do you want me to explain what a VFW is? A VFW is a bar. It's like a club where only veterans are able to gain entry, or you have to know of like a veteran, like someone has to let you in. So like military personnel. And it doesn't, I think you could be active duty as well, but.
Well, yeah, it's like to be part of like the group of that post, you have to have been military or a family member, but usually a VFW will have like a bar, restaurant to help like raise money for things. So anyone can go to the bar and drink and eat.
See, you do know what it is.
Yeah, you just put me on the spot.
Sorry.
Anyway, so she decides, okay, I'm gonna go there, try and get something to eat or whatever. And when she's there, Danny boy. So she goes to the VFW to get something to eat. She's sitting at the bar, and it just so happens that Daniel is also there with some friends. His friends like start making a bet to see like who could like get her to leave with them, type of thing. And he's like, don't think you guys are weird. Like, I'm not participating in this. He's like, I'm done for the night. I'm gonna go close out my tab. He goes up to the bar where she's sitting. They kind of chit chat for a little bit. He kind of lets her in on like the fact that a couple of his buddies have made a bet, and she's like, okay, well, do you want to win the bet if I just like leave with you?
Right.
He's like, sure. So they kind of flirt a little bit. They leave. They're outside, and then he invites her to come back to his place for food because the kitchen ended up not having any food at the VFW because it was kind of later.
Can we assume, too, that he is a veteran or...
No, he's not.
Okay. But he's like, how did he get in? How did she get in? That's my major gripe with the book is how did she get in to the VFW?
Because the VFW is not like a building that's a club. You can only get in if it's a member. Like it is.
But it is.
No.
It is. A civilian can't just walk in.
You're wrong.
That's how I've always known it. I'm looking it up. Can anyone walk into a VFW? It's only open to those who are VFW members and their guests.
That is incorrect.
It says no, not anyone can just walk into any VFW. It depends on the post's rules. So I guess there are some that do let the general public in, and then there are some that don't. But it is a private club by national bylaws. It's a private club.
Okay, yes. The being part of a VFW, like part of it, a member, yes. But you can go into it if it has like the restaurant, bar.
It sounds like if it has the rule that it lets anyone in. But there are some that are truly private.
I'm not talking about this anymore.
Just accept that I'm right.
No. Anyways, no one is a veteran.
I'm sending you to therapy.
I'm already in therapy, bitch.
Oh, good for you. Love it.
Well, not really. I graduated, but...
Oh, hey. That's amazing. Isn't it weird they call it graduation?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Anyways. Continue. So there was no food there, so he invites her back to actually have some food.
He's like, do you want to come have, like, I can make a grilled cheese. Like, that's all, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Love
she's like,
grilled cheese, though.
She's like, yeah. She's like, but just letting you know, I'm not a one-night stand girl. He's like, that's not why I was inviting you back.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, listen, girl.
Scout's honor. But then one thing leads to another. They hook up, and he wakes up.
So she is that kind of girl.
Yes, for him, though.
Whoa.
But then, so one thing leads to another. He wakes up the next morning. She's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they meet.
Okay. So at this point, I'm assuming she's running back to town.
Mm-hmm.
Wants to, I'm trying to remember the book itself. Like, it's like, okay, that was like, nice one night. Yeah. I got to go back to my life as a prominent doctor and fulfill my family duties, blah, blah, blah. So what happens next?
Yeah, so she obviously panics and leaves, gets back home. When she gets home, her brother is there, like, back from Cambodia.
Okay.
And she's like, what the heck are you doing here? And he's like, I have to tell you something. But I can't tell you until you sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. And it turns out that he just married a, like, major pop star.
Mm-hmm.
and he's leaving to like move with her to Cambodia full time to do like their doctor's upper stuff, which means it solely puts the Montgomery legacy on her shoulders. So she's kind of upset about that. It's also noted that her ex-boyfriend's stuff is still there because he refuses to pick it up. She has been to months of therapy because she had realized, or I guess because of the months of therapy, she realized that he was emotionally and manipulatively abusive.
Okay.
But it's kind of hard to not cross paths with him because he also works at the hospital and he is chief of surgery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she has a lot of trauma from her ex. He would gaslit her a lot, was mean to her.
Yeah. Just a nasty person.
Yeah. He never was physically abusive, but was mentally and emotionally abusive. Obviously he cheated on her, like we said. He would just do things to like bring down her self-esteem. So if they were walking in somewhere to meet someone and he would like lean over and sniff her, be like, "Did you take a shower?" Yeah. And the therapist was saying he was purposely lowering her self-esteem so that she felt like she deserved to be with him or like something like that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Like making her feel like she has to be with him because no one else wants to be with her because she's so, gross or horrible or, whatever.
Yeah. And she always felt like she's walking on eggshells.
Yeah. Hypervigilant. Sounds like a lot of hypervigilance.
Yes. And unfortunately, her parents are not super supportive of her breaking up with him. They love Neil because of his status and the prestige of being two doctors together. Her parents try suggesting going to couples counseling. Her dad says Neil is a brilliant man and sometimes brilliant men make mundane mistakes. And says hopes she can come to her senses.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Yeah.
So the dad sucks, too.
Yeah, he does. And she is like, he cheated on me. He was like abusive to me. Like, I've gone to all the schools you wanted. I've done the career you wanted me to. I've done all these things and you're still not happy because she became an ER doctor instead of a surgeon. So that's been a contention. And then now that her brother is leaving, who was like the favorite, all these expectations are on her to go to these fundraisers and continue the Montgomery reign, if you will.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so a lot of pressure from mom and dad, specifically dad.
Yeah.
She's not the surgeon that he wanted her to be. She's an ER doctor, a lowly
The
ER
shame.
doctor. The shame. How dare she? Yeah, and they're pushing for her staying with this guy who sounds like narcissistic or at minimum, emotionally manipulative and has been mentally abusive. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That freaking sucks.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah, so she kind of has been talking with her best friend Bree, who's also a doctor, about her like one night stand and how she can't really she's like, I don't know if I should I make it like a thing, like whatever. So yeah, so she's kind of hesitant to call Daniel, but she decides to do it anyways, and they start kind of like a friends with benefits situation. So she'll come visit him on the weekends, and they'll kind of hang out, have sex.
All the things.
All the things.
In the small town.
Yeah.
Let me guess. Does she start to fall in love with the small town?
What? No.
What? Who?
No way. But yeah, so, and you kind of notice things like, kind of like trauma responses that she has.
Ooh, tell me more.
Dating Neil. One day, like, Daniel noticed that she's wearing makeup in the morning, and he's like, when did you put makeup on? And she's like, oh, before you woke up. He's like, why? You don't need to do that. And she's like, oh. And it's because there was a point in her and Neil's relationship that Neil wouldn't talk to her unless she was like all up and ready and done, done up and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Anyway, so they just continue their kind of like friends with benefits situation. She doesn't open up a whole lot. And he like tries to ask her questions. Eventually he finds out that she's a doctor, but that doesn't necessarily make him feel insecure. More of like, oh, like she's even more out of my league than I originally thought.
Okay. So how is Daniel's self-esteem? He's 28. He's a little bit younger. Yeah. Like you said, has a lot of different roles going on in this small town.
Yeah.
How does he feel about himself?
I think he's pretty secure in himself for the most part. He has obviously lived here his whole life. He runs a B&B out of the Grant house, which is like this house that his family has owned for like 100 years.
Okay.
Where was I going with this? I don't know.
You were saying that he's secure. It sounds like you were just kind of describing like who he is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he runs the B&B. He does like carpentry on the side. He just helps the town. It's a really small town, so it's like basically one big family. And he's pretty like comfortable with himself.
Yeah, it sounds like he's got a good head on his shoulders, especially for being 28. As a fellow 28-year-old, it's a weird time because you feel young and old at the same time. So good for him. Yeah, so while this positive thing is going on with Daniel, she's also dealing with a lot back home. Daniel decides to move back in. Oh. He's like, we bought this house together. My name's on like the mortgage. Like I am legally allowed to be here. Bummer.
So, and she's like, well, I'm not giving up my house. And he's like, it makes more sense for me to have the house. She's like, no, it doesn't. Type of thing. So while she's going through that, then Daniel also goes through something when his mom calls. His mom had him when she was like 15. And she got pregnant by like a 16-year-old boy who was like a tourist to the town that like whatever. And so he was raised by his grandparents. His mom kind of left as soon as she got her license.
Right.
But his grandparents have both passed away. So he's like the sole one that kind of takes care of everything. Right. And he sends money to his mom from the B&B. And she calls him and says she's going to sell the house. And he's like, no, you can't do that. It's my family's legacy. Like, oh. Like, he's like, give me time to like save up money for like the down payment for the mortgage and stuff, things like that. And she gives him like 6 months to get the money together. Okay. So they're both going kind of through some difficult things, but they kind of leaning on each other where they're talking on the phone for hours at a time, things like that, growing closer emotionally as well.
Okay, so while Alexis maybe initially doesn't want to grow close to him, it sounds like her and Daniel do start to have this bond.
Yeah, and their relationship is definitely tested because she decides to go on like a little girls trip away, and one of her friends, in quotes, because they're bitches.
Oh no!
Yeah, one of her friends is like tasked with getting the place they're gonna stay, so she has no idea where they're going until they're headed there. Turns out they're going to walk on and they're staying at the B&B that Daniel owns.
Okay, how does that work out? How does Alexis react to that?
So she is freaked out, so she tries to text him being like, when I get there, don't act like you know me.
Mean.
And, you know, she's like this, that, and the other. She's like, I'm not ready for people in my life to find out about him because I just want to keep him for myself.
Okay.
And I know, she's like, as soon as like one of these women find out, they're big gossipers, so they'll go and tell everyone, their husbands, and then Neil will find out. And my parents, she's like, and I don't want to do that to him. I want to just keep him here, type of thing.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So
I can kind of understand that. Also, though, that's so mean. Like, to be on the receiving end of that, that is really mean. I don't like that.
Yeah. So
how does Daniel take that? Yeah,
he's not very happy at first. I wrote in my notes, her friends are see you next Tuesdays.
They sound like it.
But yeah,
she's that worried about them finding out and gossiping and stuff like that. They're not friends.
Right. So the weekend does not go great with just a lot of things go wrong that are kind of out of control of Daniel and everything. So they're like, I'm going to leave a 1-star review. And she's like, don't do that. Like,
yeah.
Yada, yada, yada.
Don't do that to us if you're listening.
Please. We'll never recover. But yeah, so that she's like, I don't know if I want to be friends with these women anymore. She apologizes to Daniel. She's like, I'm sorry. Like, and he forgives her pretty much right away. He's like, okay, like, you know, like,
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so then back to her kind of real life, if you will. Neil's still living at home and he cuts the power. He like turns the switch off for the whole house and she's like,
abuse.
Exactly. And she's like, so she calls Daniel. She's like, my power's out. He's like, something like a breaker. And he's like, that shouldn't have happened. Like that for the whole house, someone has to actually like turn it off. And you find out that, like, Neil is trying to push the agenda of, like, she needs him. Like, she doesn't know how to cook or clean or pay the bills or fix things in the house. So he's really trying to push that, like, she needs him. But then, like, you know, like, and he is, like, the back and forth where he, like, one day he'll do, like, cut the power. The next day he'll act like nothing happened and is making nice. Her parents show up. Yeah. Her parents show up one day and they're going golfing with Neil.
These parents suck.
I know. But yeah, so clearly there's just a lot going on with Neil and her parents. But then her and Daniel's relationship grows a lot stronger because when she's over at his house, she asks him to show things, how to do things, how to cook, how to clean. Because she's never, like, she is 37, but she grew up with both surgeon parents. Like, she had maids and whatever. Like, though she's never really knew how to do this stuff, so he shows her how to do it. He explains why he does it.
Right.
So that just kind of
He sounds like a gem.
Yeah, he's not like holding it over her, and she's like, "Wow, this is great." So they kind of fall deeper, and they become exclusive, but there's no title, which is
that sounds like an oxymoron.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So exclusive but no title. Okay. Yeah. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. What's happening?
Right. So again, she is still like trying to live up to her parents' expectations. Chief of emergency medicine opens up, and her dad's like, "Well, you're applying for
no question about it. Yeah,
you're doing it," type of thing. She gets dinner with her parents, and they're still trying to convince her to get back with Neil. And basically, her dad dismisses the abuse because it wasn't physical.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Do they know about Daniel at this point?
No, no one knows except for Bree, her best friend. And then the two women that she went on the weekend trip with, they know she's seen someone younger, but they don't know it was Daniel.
Okay.
But yeah, and she's going back to walk in as much as she can. She starts bringing like medical equipment because they don't have like a clinic in their small town. The closest doctor is like 2 hours away in Rochester, which is a bigger city.
Is that a real place?
Yeah, it is. It's where the Mayo Clinic is.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Fun fact. So she goes on helps a lot of people. So she helps deliver a baby one time she's there. All sorts of stuff. While she's there, she also witnesses one of the town people getting abused by her husband, like physically abusive. And she kind of talks to Daniel about how they can help her because, the statistic is like women attempt to leave 7 times before they're successful or they lose their lives type of stuff. And she's like, we can only do so much as what she's ready for. She's not going to leave him. It's called like battered someone syndrome or something like that.
Battered woman syndrome.
Yeah. And she's obviously speaking from experience of obviously not the physical abuse, but just abuse in general.
Right. Okay. So at this point, it sounds like she's finding ways to help in this small town, growing closer to Daniel. Neil is kind of ramping up his bullshit. Parents are still somehow pushing her to be with him despite all the abuse that is occurring. Bree knows what's going on, so at least she has one confidant, outside of her relationship with Daniel. What is happening next?
So basically, she decides she should probably end things with Daniel.
Okay.
Because she's like, because I know, she's like, I'm probably going to get the job. I'm going to be working 80 hours a week. I just won't have time to be here. There's no way he's going to fit into my life as in my parents will never accept him because they don't accept.
Because they're losers.
Yeah, they're assholes. They'll never accept Daniel, like they didn't accept Derek's wife, whatnot. But then later she goes to visit him one weekend and she's going to end it that weekend. But then they end up confessing that they're in love with each other. And so they decide to try and make it work.
Yeah.
And that's followed up like the next day by her being back home. She gets the job of the chief of emergency medicine, and her family and her friends come and to congratulate her, and Neil shows up, but then so does Daniel. He comes with flowers, not knowing that
all
her
these
family's
other people
there,
are
all
there.
these people are there, and her dad like completely like finds it hilarious that this is her boyfriend, like yada yada yada.
Wow.
And then Daniel feels betrayed because he finds out that she's still technically living with Neil and that they're going to couples counseling, even though that's not true.
They're not. Yeah. Right.
She's basically like forced Neil to go to therapy by himself. So yeah, and so that kind of puts a strain on things. That her best friend Bree finds him in the parking lot and explains some things of why. And he goes over to her house and sees just like the big house she lives in and how different her life is and how different their worlds are. And she's like, I can't make it work. Like, there's just no way I can satisfy my parents, but also staying with you. Like, she officially like breaks things off.
No, poor Daniel.
Yeah, and they're obviously both struggling. Like, it's just hard.
And
so
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, when do things turn around? This is sad.
Okay, I know. So, well, it gets a little worse before it gets better. But she like calls him a few months later because she just like misses him, and they like talk on the phone, and they are both crying on the phone.
No.
And she's like, I thought this would help, but it just made it worse. And so when they get off the phone, he blocks her. He's like, I can't. He's like,
honestly, good, healthy boundary on his part, though.
Yeah.
If nothing's going to change, block him.
Yeah, exactly. Lock his ass.
Blocked.
So yeah. And then there's this big gala that's coming up that she's been preparing for, that she has to make a speech.
What is it?
A gala?
Oh, okay, yeah.
A gala?
A
Gala?
gala.
I don't know. And so she decides she's gonna flip the script, and she calls an emergency board meeting with the board of the hospital. She goes behind her like mom and dad's back of what her speech is gonna be like, and she basically like stands up to her dad right before the speech and is like, "You're gonna lose both your kids because you're cutting us off from your life if we don't do what you do."
Jeez,
and she kind of has come to the realization that he is also emotionally and manipulative, abusive, just like Neil was. And that's kind of how she ended up almost in that relationship, is because that's all she's known.
Yeah, absolutely.
And her mom never protected her or her brother from that kind of situation either. She's like, but I can't save her. Like, she's got to save herself,
Right.
type of thing. So then so for this gala, she invites Daniel, but he doesn't respond to her. So she's like, not sure if he'll show up. But she goes up there to make a speech and says they're opening up like satellite clinics, free clinics. So they're opening the first two, one in Walken and one in Cambodia with her brother.
Nice.
So it's still like continuing seeing the Montgomery legacy with this hospital, just a little bit differently.
Right.
And it allows her to be with Daniel. And then Daniel shows up right at the end. He's like, I was here for your speech. I just didn't want to show my face to make you nervous or whatever.
So sweet.
And then happily ever after.
Yay! Yay! I love that.
Yeah.
What a beautiful story.
Yeah, I love Abby Jimenez's writing. Her romances feel real in a way.
Right.
Where it's like real life stuff. And it's more realistic than some other romances.
Absolutely. And she always sends her characters to therapy.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. Yeah, that's awesome. Thinking about knowing everything that you shared and trying to recall what I remember when I read the book. If Alexis was a client, I would imagine some of the goals that we would be working on would be clarifying her values. So having her try to identify what are some of her personal values versus what are some of the values that have been kind of like bestowed upon her, by mom and dad, especially. We'd want to do some boundary setting, practice how to set boundaries with parents. And it sounds like she was kind of doing that by saying like, look, this is, you're going to lose me if you're going to lose me and my brother if you don't kind of change. But let's say parents were like, okay, like, we're not going to change. Like, that's fine. But now we're going to have to set some boundaries on her end. So that might look like not necessarily no contact, but maybe like low contact. So, if mom texts or if dad texts, like letting some time pass before answering it immediately, things like that. It might also be helpful to work through some, I don't know if I'd go as far to say that it's imposter syndrome, but just some of those feelings of like separating her personal achievements versus being a part of like the family brand, if that makes sense. So working on some of those things sounds like could be helpful. Diagnosis-wise, I'm thinking she's got a lot going on. I think it's important not to just gloss over all of the abuse with Neil. That could definitely leave her feeling dysregulated. And there could be some like PTSD or CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder, because it's happened over a long time, all of these abusive things, and that leave her feeling like hypervigilant, like walking on eggshells, having, difficulty with things like that. Could lead to a CPTSD diagnosis. I also am curious just about one of the more, I love this diagnosis because it's so simple, adjustment disorder. And I might have talked about this in an earlier episode, but adjustment disorder is something that I like to use when I'm starting out with clients, just as a starting point. Because insurance is a thing and makes us diagnose if you're utilizing insurance. But it's just to say that there is something going on in your life that you're adjusting to. So it sounds like for Alexis, we could probably give her an adjustment disorder as she's adjusting to the breakup with Neil, navigating this new relationship, navigating having a new job title, and then having that job title fall into something else, like the clinics that she's opening up to. There's just a lot of adjusting going on, adjustments happening in her life. So that would probably be a safe diagnosis to give her as well. But yeah, a lot of like treatment plan wise, a lot of working through values and separating herself from her family and their goals. So, and working through to all the things with Neil. all of those hypervigilant symptoms. So maybe some somatic, like some body work too, if she's like on edge. Did it ever say anything about her being like having any physical symptoms? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I
Well,
think it
if
was
she
just
was
a lot of like sabotaging, like or
self-sabotaging behaviors.
Yeah, or like just like not doing what she truly wants, just to make other people happy.
Yeah. So we'd want to work through some things like that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So, what did you rate this book out of 5?
I rated it 5 stars. And I know I keep saying like 5 stars is like rare for me, but that's because I'm bringing a lot of my 5 stars to talk about in this podcast. But yeah, 5 stars. I just, again, love the way Abby writes. And just I don't know, with her, like, just the way she articulates things and like, realistic, yes, but like, I don't know, it's hard to explain.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. I rated this book 4 stars. Okay. Like you, 5 stars are more rare for me. My comments on this was February of this past year. Okay. I said, it was so cute. Abby Jimenez is officially my favorite romance author. My only note is that clinically, it seemed that one of the main characters actually had qualifiers for autism more so than anxiety, but loved the mental health representation regardless. I don't know, like, from what we've talked about, now I'm like, no one sounded like they have autism, so I wonder who I was talking about. So stay tuned. That's another day.
You have to reread and come back to this.
I don't know.
Autism, you say?
Autism.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this is number 2 out of, 3? Are there 3 of these books in this series?
Yeah, they're like standalones within a series. So there's Part of Your World, Yours Truly, which is Bree, who is Alexis's best friend, who's also a doctor, her book, and Just for the Summer is the third one. But I don't remember the connection of the characters for this one. But yeah, nice. I also have beef to pick with Abby Jimenez's publisher.
Oh, do tell.
How the hell are you gonna have a book in the same series? If you're listening to this episode, you're gonna have to like come and watch this part of the video because so you understand. How the heck is Forever Publishing gonna publish books in the same series and make them all different sizes?
Oh, that's annoying. Yeah. Huh? If you can't see, they're different heights, so they don't sit well together on a shelf. Lame.
And also the covers for the first 2 just like are just on the front, right? And then it matches, even though they're 2 different heights. Yeah. Scott, but then her name isn't.
It's a mess.
But then the third one, the cover like comes onto the spine too.
Does anyone at Forever Publishing?
Publishing.
Give Mary a job. She'll fix this for you.
Yeah, like I get if it was like different series, fine, but no, and it's like a continuing like thing for her books. Like, let me see. I'm missing one of her books. Someone took my book.
Oh no.
But anyways, in her very first series, the Friend Zone series, there's 3 books. I'm missing. I don't know where the second one went, but the second one's taller than the first and third one. I'm like,
so they're all.
I'm like, why are we doing that?
Uncool.
Why are we doing that? Uncool. But I got a special edition of Part of Your World.
Oh, cute. Yeah, I haven't seen that cover before. Nice.
I need a Daniel Grant in my life. Let me just say.
Incredible. Yeah. Well, if readers like this book, what other books would you recommend?
Yeah, some like romance, but like a little bit more like real life kind of stuff. So I actually already mentioned one of the books I was going to recommend at the beginning of this podcast, The Things You Save in a Fire by Catherine Center. It follows the female firefighter, and she has to start at a new station for reasons that you'll find out when you read. But that makes her start over as a rookie, basically. And then there's a little bit of romance with another rookie. And another book I would recommend is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I just love her writing. Her writing is so beautiful. The romances are just like, so good. This one is about, it actually turns into it's a one-night stand pregnancy trope, which normally I will say, I know, jump scare. I don't usually love the pregnancy trope, but this was just done so well. And they don't get together right away because they're having this baby together. Like, they're like friends and like, so good.
Love a slow burn.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if you found yourself resonating with Alexis and her lack of boundaries, I have an exercise for you for this week. I'd ask that you draw 3 circles. So the inner circle would be things that you do for yourself. The middle circle would be things I do for XYZ person. And then the outer circle is things I do for another person. Or it could be like a group. It could be like things I do for school, things I do for work, things I do for my parents, things I do for my boyfriend, things I do, whatever. So the goal would be to visually see how much of your energy is being put forth in these other circles. Maybe representing the need for some boundaries to reclaim, some of your time. So that's my prescription for the week.
Cool. I thought we could do the 1-star reviews again.
Yes.
Because that's always a good time. All right, let's see here. 1-star review number 1. This was boring. I'm sorry.
Apology not accepted.
Yeah, not accepted. Different world, huh? Worst FMC ever. Daniel deserves better. I hope they don't end up together. True, I hope he ends up with me.
Oh, you heard it here first.
If there's anyone like Daniel Grant out there, hit my line. Another one. This was gross. Multiple characters encouraged the male lead to take a quality nude to send to his love interest because they assured him that she would show all her friends. Normalizing the sharing of nudes without permission is gross and problematic.
Snaps.
Okay, I will say though, it's like a scene where they are texting and they both consent to sending like a picture, and Daniel goes to take like a dick pic. Having never sent one before, he doesn't know what he's doing. So his buddy Doug runs over and he's like, "You need better lighting." So he brings
tries to help him up.
Yeah, he's like, "You need a ring light." So he brings a ring light.
No, not
and
the ring light.
He's like, "It's got to look good because she's gonna show all her friends. It's like a thing that these women do."
Oh my gosh.
So it's like a funny thing.
Yes.
Don't be. Clearly, this Lisa, you're not fun at parties, obviously. Next up, absolutely no chemistry between these two.
I remember there being chemistry.
Yeah, did we read the same book? I don't know. Note to self. Don't overanalyze silly romance novels. Lots of cliches and odd decision-making in order to make the plot work. Wouldn't recommend or read again.
Was that directed to us?
You know what? It's fiction.
That's
fiction.
Why
there's, these cliches and stuff. Okay, and then last one. I knew I wasn't gonna like this book, and here I am.
I love the self-awareness,
What
though.
do you mean?
At least they gave it a shot.
I guess.
Well, as usual, we like to get a second opinion. So, did we get the diagnosis right? Or are we just totally making stuff up and, we're just all over the place?
Yeah, slide into our DMs. We're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, the whole 9 yards, and let us know your thoughts.
And if you're listening on Spotify, leaving a 5-star review acts as a major dopamine hit for us. Please do it. We beg.
Until next time, keep turning the pages.
And remember, reality is stressful. Read responsibly. And as we end, a quick reminder, I'm a licensed therapist, but this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The discussions here are theoretical and applied to fictional characters. This is not medical advice. I am not your therapist, and listening to this podcast does not establish a client-therapist relationship. If you are experiencing a mental health emergency, please contact 988 or go to your nearest emergency room.
So before we sign off, I have a riddle for next week's book.
Ooh. Let's hear it.
All right. One was a mistake and one was for show. One was a father and one let me grow. One was a cover and one was a friend. One was a lover until the very end. But the person who knows my secrets best is the one I chose to reveal as my final quest.
Stay tuned for next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.